Last October's government shutdown affected filing dates. The IRS won't process tax returns before January 31st. With that in mind, now's the time to get prepared. We sat down with Deltrease of Hart Accounting to get some understanding of changes to the tax laws and other things to be mindful of this tax season. So Deltrease, tell us a little bit about how long you've been in business and why you decided to go into taxes and accounting. You must have been a great math student.
No, it had nothing to do with math, Michael. I have been in accounting since I graduated from college, but I have had my accounting and tax practice since 2003. I started off as Bookkeepers Inc., and once I got my license in accounting, I became Hart Accounting. So from 2003 up until 2014, that's 11 years. What made me want to open my own practice? I worked in corporate America. I'm an accountant by trade and degree. So I worked in corporate America. I worked for various companies. Fruit of the Loom, I was a cost accounting manager. I was an accountant at SCANA. I was a financial analyst at Time Warner Cable. And all the while, I was working at H&R Block part-time, preparing taxes and teaching tax. So in 2003, I decided to leave H&R Block and start a practice on my own. And while I was at H&R Block, a lot of people kept asking me, do you do bookkeeping? And because I was in corporate America, I just didn't do any bookkeeping because corporate America pretty much kept me busy and having the part-time job at H&R Block. In 2003, I started taxes and bookkeeping part-time. And then once I got married and was able to get on my husband's health insurance, then I gradually started Hart Accounting full-time.
Wow, okay. Same story as many of our entrepreneurs. So tell us, big tax time coming up, everybody's getting ready. What are some of the things that we should look for this season?
The biggest change for tax season for individuals and businesses is the Affordable Care Act. So that's going to impact a lot of taxpayers, be they individuals, small businesses, medium-sized businesses. So that's the big tax.
You tell us with the sequestration and the government shutdown, has that affected filing dates and how fast you might get a tax return?
Yes, it has affected filing dates. Last year, we were able to electronically file tax returns 2 weeks earlier. The first filing date for individual tax preparers this year is January 31st. So there will be no electronic returns that can be filed. Now you can prepare your return before the 31st, but the IRS will not accept electronic returns until the 31st of January. When the returns are accepted, the IRS starts to process, so your refunds should only take about 10 days for you to get a refund. If you are using direct deposit, if you are being mailed a check, then it's going to take a little longer. April 15th is still D-Day. April 15th is still going to be the last day that an individual can file their tax return, and it be timely unless you file for an extension. And keep in mind that extension is only an extension to file the return, but if you owe taxes for 2013, you will still need to pay those taxes April 15th of 2014.
Okay. Now, could you clear up something for us? How does rapid refund work now? I've heard some people say you can't do it the same way, or we're not doing rapid refund. So can you clear that up for us?
The refund anticipation loan was a loan that you would receive based on the amount of money that you anticipated on getting back for your refund, your income tax refund. There are companies now that will offer you $2,500 or $1,000 but it is not a refund anticipation loan. It is just a true loan.
Right.
So that is the difference now. And if there are companies out there that are offering you a refund or are saying that it is a refund anticipation loan, it's really not. Okay. Yeah, it is just a regular consumer loan.
Okay. Glad you brought that up. Now, when considering a company to do my taxes or someone to do my taxes, should I always go to a certified tax preparer, or is my dad's gonna do the taxes? It still go to dad, or what's your thoughts on that?
You do not have to have a certified public accountant to do your tax return. But if your father is someone you trust and your father understands tax laws, your father is well capable of preparing your return. Now, as a paid preparer, if you are paying someone to prepare your return, ask that person, do you have a P10? Okay? And that P10 is just a number that identifies that particular paid tax preparer. And if anything should happen to your tax return, if there were any fraudulent issues where that preparer did not ask you the pertinent questions, or if that preparer put something on your tax return that you weren't privy to, then that person is on the hook as well as you. But that person is on the hook for preparing that fraudulent return. So you need to have at least someone with a P10. The IRS has also started a registered tax return preparer program where preparers have to take a test in order to get paid for a tax return. So you want to make sure, even if that person isn't registered, most people are registered, but if that person isn't registered, you want to make sure that person at least has a P10 to identify themselves with the IRS.
So Deltrease, tell me, do you guys offer any help if someone gets into trouble, if I have some unfiled taxes, or, I got liens, do you offer those type of services?
Yes, Michael, we do. That is one of my passions, and that's a large part of my business, where we help individuals and businesses get out of tax trouble. We help stop IRS wage garnishments. We help stop liens. We help remove the liens, help with levies. There's one thing I would like for people to be mindful of when they hear these commercials on TV and they're paying the larger companies $10,000, $20,000, sometimes $20,000 to help them out of tax trouble, that we can do the same thing for much less than that. Okay. But there are certain people and certain businesses that we can actually settle for pennies on the dollar. But there are certain people where we can just stop the liens. In most cases, liens and wage garnishments can be stopped within the same day that a client comes through the office. But there are some people that we have to do a little more work on, but we can still get it done. And yes, so there are ways to stop wage garnishments, liens, and levies, but you still will have a tax liability. The commercials make it seem so easy that everyone gets their taxes wiped out, or their liens or levies wiped out, and that's not always the case. There are certain criteria that people have to meet in order for that to happen.
Well, Deltrease, thank you for sitting down with us. We definitely come to see you on January 31st.
Thank you.